My name is Alexandria Johnson. My maiden name is Monroe. I have a small business called Hella Vibes, and I sell gemstones and crystals. And I like to spend time with my family, watch TV. I have a brand new baby. So I'm spending a lot of time with her and my husband right now. I've lived here my whole life, 36 years. I think that San Leandro is a nice place to live. I think it's safe. I was just telling my husband today, I wonder what it's going to look like as our daughter grows and gets older, as far as like who lives here, because it's changed over the years, racially for sure. And so it's different to see things change right before your eyes, but it takes many years to change. But when you really notice it, it's very interesting to see. Growing up here was okay. I think when I was smaller, when I started elementary school, I will always remember this, that people always ask why my grandma was white, my mom's mom. And I never knew skin color or race. I didn't know that. My mom didn't ever tell us, like, you're black, she's white. It wasn't a question to us. And so I remember crying because all the kids at school of all races would always ask me why my grandma was white. So in kindergarten is when I learned about black, white, Mexican, all different races and ethnic groups. And I remember I was one of like 5 black students, probably in kindergarten and first grade. So it was like all of us that hung out together. So I think younger, I noticed that we were all different, but as we got older, it became more diverse. We had friends from all over the place. And when you hit high school, it's people from everywhere. I really liked the teachers. There was some good teachers. I went to Monroe Catholic for half of 10th grade, and there was a teacher, Mrs. Gildersleeve at San Leandro High, that helped me get into Monroe Catholic. Miss Schoenstein, I remember her. She also helped me. There was like really some standout teachers there, and there were also some teachers that weren't too good, but I think that's everywhere. But I would say that a lot of San Leandro High teachers really care about their students and want them to succeed. At least in my case, they did. I have a brother who is 3 years younger than me. His experience was not the same as mine. I remember that he had a teacher. He would always laugh. Like, that's just what he does. Like, if he's nervous, if he's sad, he laughs. It's like a nervous thing he has. And she felt threatened by him. She would call my mom and say he was being disrespectful. And I really think it was just because he was black. He was different than other people in his class. He was bigger and she was really small. My mom had to pull him out of the class. I also remember another teacher in math. She used to always pick on, this is my experience, on all black kids. We used to all hang out together, and she used to always pick on us and tell us to be quiet and everybody else could talk. And one day I noticed it and told her, like, why do you always pick on us? Like, you always pick on the black kids. And I was sent out. And I think my brother was there then, and that was kind of the experience then. It kind of started switching. That's like in 2003. There were some teachers that weren't too savory there. And you definitely noticed it was because of your color of your skin. And I felt like the black teachers treated us a little bit better. In that year, it was like a weird year where teachers were treating us differently. But my brother definitely had a different experience with teachers. And that wasn't the only teacher. A lot of teachers treated him that way. This is home, and I like how comfortable it is because I know a lot of people here. When we go places, I know people, and all my family lives here or lives close by. I think that part of it, wanting to stay here, we've talked about moving other places, is wanting to change things, especially in the school system. I think that we need more faces that look like ours, and we have to be present though. So not just going, but actually doing something. And so I feel for myself, like sending my child to a public school, because we could easily send her to a private school. We could easily send her to a different city, right, with better schools. But I think for me, it's just being present and showing up and making people see you, right? And saying that I'm not going anywhere, we're not going anywhere, and changing things. So I'm fully prepared to make noise once she hits school, because I've seen what the school system is and how they've treated my sister with my nieces in the school system, and especially at the school that we're all going to go to. We all go to the same school because we live in the same place. I'm a natural born leader. I'm always leading people. I have a way of getting people to do things. And when I have an idea, I always have an army behind me. And I just have a yearning to change that and to see how we can make it better for not only my daughter, but children that come behind her. Because I wish that people did that for me. It wasn't too many black parents fighting for us. I remember my mom, and she would say when she would go to PTA, like, I was the only black parent there. Like, I feel like I don't belong there, so I'm just gonna not go there, you know? So I think that definitely needs to change. And instead of making subgroups, I know there's like an African American group for parents. We need to all come together. It shouldn't be a separate group. It shouldn't be LGBTQ and Latinos Unidos and African American. It should be all one. And that's division, you know? And I don't think that they're doing it on purpose, but that's what it comes off as. So that's my goal. I want my daughter to grow up in the system that I grew up. And it's a lot better than when I was here, I feel like. There's a lot of things that have changed in the school system, and I think we could change it further, me and my husband especially. I think we have the power to do that. He has a consulting company and nonprofit. We have a nonprofit together, the Block Love Foundation. We've had ones before we were married, our own separate ones. And he does a lot of things in the schools. He has a talent tour, which is a talent show, but he calls it a talent tour. And he goes around to different schools. I do mainly feeding people. That's my love language. I like to feed people. So I've been doing it about 8 or 9 years. It started with a big dinner in People's Park in Berkeley. We used to call it Thanksgiving in the Park. Now we call it Fall Feast. And we used to sit down with people in the park. So these are essentially houseless people. And we used to eat with them. And it's a full traditional meal, turkey, ham, everything. And because of COVID, we haven't been able to do that the past few years. But we still go. We just box it up and take it out there. So that's one of the main things that I like to do. I would say that's the most important to me, is feeding people. Food is really important. And especially at a time like this, a lot of people are going hungry. So it's not only houseless people. There are people that have homes that we feed. There's lots of children that we feed. So those are the main two things I think that we do. Well, my aspiration for the future of San Leandro is equality, and that people take accountability for their actions. Little things still happen here that are not okay, mainly with law enforcement, that are not acceptable. But that's something that San Leandro never wants to touch. So that is the main issue. I think that law enforcement needs to do better to protect everybody in the community, not just certain people. I think that they racially profile a lot of people. My brother, this is about 10 years ago now, was racially profiled. He had guns drawn on him, and then, oops, sorry, wrong person, and they just left, you know. His friends have lots of stories of San Leandro police doing that, and this goes back for generations. So I think my aspiration for San Leandro is definitely to do better at the top, you know, for the people that are in charge, police and all, and to listen to us. You know, we're not making all this noise for nothing, you know, we want to disrupt the system, but we want positive change to come from it. And I think people are confused about that. They think we're just disrupting to disrupt, you know, but that's not the case. And again, they're looking through a white lens. They're not looking through a lens of someone that looks like me, you know, a black or brown person. They're not doing that. And that's a problem, a definite problem. And it's just not okay. And Stephen Taylor was killed. So now they have to address that because nobody's being quiet about it. And so I think because of that, they're changing because they have no choice, because they're under a lens. But this should have been changed years ago. You know, when that happened to my brother, my mom went to the police department and talked to people, and nothing, not even an apology. Like, even if we're in front of our house late at night, the police they'll shine a light, go by twice, take a little extra glance. You can tell they're like, do you belong here? You know? And that's disheartening, especially when you've lived here your whole life, you know? I think San Leandro's going in the right direction, but I think the people that are making noise, the change makers, we need to keep making noise. Whatever that looks like for you, keep going, because there's a lot of people that are in different sectors, you know, pay really close attention to education or the police department, whatever it is. Keep doing that, because I think part of that is why San Leandro is changing. We're forcing them to, because people, black and brown, we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay. So they're going to have to see us. They have no choice. So definitely keep going. I'm proud to be from San Leandro. I'm proud to live here. I do want to say that. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of work to do, but I think we're going in the right direction, and we're doing a good job as a whole. Definitely.